Hello class, welcome to this week's filmmaking lesson. So today it's autumn. In the autumn days, they say that the Google Doodle is up to something with that autumn. I'll show you what I mean. It's kind of raining outside, but it's sometimes a lot of dew. I'll show you the autumn, okay? This is autumn. It's Happy Fall 2019. Autumn is really good, so it ends on December 21st, so it's September 23rd. Right, so let's look about autumn right there. The autumn is really colorful leaves, and they have fallen to the trees. It says that autumnal scene with yellow, orange, and red leaves on trees and fallen on the ground. Harvest straw bales in the field of Schleswig, Holstein, Germany. Halloween pumpkins, All Saints' Day at a cemetery in Sanok. Flowers and lit candles are placed to honor the memory of deceased relatives. Poland, 1 November 2011. Pumpkin pie is commonly served on and around Thanksgiving in North America. Maple leaves changing color by a creek. Autumnal, Frederick Edwin Church, 1875. Masio Thesine, Bernemesia. John Everett Malleus, Autumn Leaves. Autumn, Giuseppe Archibaldo, 1573. Autumn, 1896, by Art Nouveau artist Alphonse Malcha. Autumn landscape in Rybinski, Latvia. Watercolor by Stanislaw Maslowski, 1902. National Museum in Warsaw, Poland. This 1905 print by Maxfield Frederick Parrish illustrated Keats' poem Autumn. Autumn in New England and Diwali. So those are paintings are really good. Alright, let's take a look up on the Walt Disney Home Video releases, okay? So if you go to 2019 Home Video, it might show you one, okay? So I'm gonna have to scroll down so we know what we did. Okay, we did Descendants 3 and Avengers Endgame, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. And Thor the Dark World. And we did Aladdin 2019. We did A Bug's Life. Oh wait, sorry. Here we go. Okay, let's look up on Cars. It's made by 2006 film. Blu-ray reissue. Here's a plot in this film. In a world populated by anthropomorphic talking vehicles, the last race of the Piston Cup Championship ends when the three-way tie between retiring racing veteran Strip the King Weathers, dirty playing frequent runner-up Chick Hicks, the brash rookie Lightning McQueen. The tiebreaker race is scheduled for 1 week later in California. Lightning is desperate to win the race, since not only would it make him the first rookie to win the Piston Cup, but also allow him to leave the unglamorous sponsorship of Rusty's, a bumper ointment company, and allow him to take the King's place on the prestigious and lucrative Danico team. Eager to start practice in California as soon as possible, he pushes his big rig Mac to travel all night long. While Lightning is sleeping, Mac drifts off and is startled by a gang of 4 reckless street racers, causing Lightning to fall out the back of the trailer and onto the road. Lightning wakes in the middle of traffic and speeds off the highway in search of Mac, but instead ends up lost in the run-down desert town of Radio Springs, where he inadvertently ruins the pavement of its main road in his panic. After being arrested and impounded overnight, Lightning is ordered by the town judge, Doc Hudson, to leave town immediately. However, the local lawyer Sally Carrera requests that Lightning should instead be given community service to repave the road, to which Dog reluctantly agrees. Lightning tries to repave the road as quickly as possible, but is so shoddily that he is forced to repave it again. During this, he befriends several of the town's residents and learns that Radiator Springs used to be a popular stop along with the old U.S. Route 66 40 years ago, but it was bypassed with the construction of Interstate 40 and thus was mostly forgotten. Lightning also discovers that Doc is the fabulous Hudson Hornet, a three-time Piston Cup winner whose racing career ended with a crash in 1954, after which he was quickly forgotten by the sport. Lightning finishes repaving the road, which reinvigorates the town's residents, and spends the extra day in Radiator Springs with his new friends. However, Mac and the media descend on the town after having been tipped off to Lightning's whereabouts. Lightning reluctantly leaves to reach California in time for the race while Sally chastises Doc upon discovering that he was responsible for tipping off the media. At the tiebreaker, Lightning races distractedly as he misses Sally and his other new friends, and he soon falls into last place. He is then surprised to discover that Doc has taken over as his crew chief, and several other cars from Radiator Springs are helping in the pit. Inspired and recalling tricks he learned from Doc and his friends, Lightning quickly emerges to lead the race into the final 2 laps. However, at the last minute, Chick, refusing to lose to the King again, sideswipes the King and sends him into a dangerous crash, recalling Doc's fate. Lightning stops just short of the finish line, allowing Chick to win, and drives back to push the King over the finish line. The crowd and media condemn Chick's victory, but are impressed with Lightning's sportsmanship. Though offered a Donegal sponsorship, Lightning declines and insists on staying with Rusty's out of loyalty for their past support, though he convinces him to give Mater the helicopter ride he had promised him. Back at Radiator Springs, Lightning reunites with Sally and announces that he will be setting up his racing headquarters there, putting Radiator Springs back on the map. Alright. So, that's first. So, on today we did it. Okay, on tomorrow we will be doing about the 2007 film. Here is the plot in this film. Remy is an idealistic, ambitious young rat with highly developed senses of taste and smell who dreams of becoming a chef like his idol. The famous Auguste Gusteau, who passed away 2 years before 1961. His brother Emile and the other rats only seek out food for sustenance. One day, when his family is forced to flee their home, Remy becomes separated from the pack and eventually finds himself at a skylight overlooking the kitchen of Gusteau's restaurant in Paris. He sees a young garbage boy, Alfredo Linguini, spill a pot of soup and attempt to recreate it. Remy sees that Linguini is actually ruining the soup and fixes his mistake, which Linguini witnesses. However, Skinner, Gusteau's former sous chef and new owner, confronts Linguini for tampering with the soup, but while they argue, the soup is accidentally served and proves to be a success. Colette Tutto, the staff's only female chef, convinces Skinner to retain Linguini, who is assumed to be the soup's creator. When Skinner catches Remy trying to escape, He orders Linguini to kill a rat, but Linguini discovers Rennie's intelligence and decides to keep him instead. On Linguini's first day as a chef, he and Remy find a way to communicate. Linguini hides Remy under his toque, where Remy guides Linguini like a marionette. By pulling on his hair, Skinner assigns Colette to train his new cook. Skinner and Remy learn that Linguini is actually Gusto's son and the rightful owner of the restaurant. Remy gives the evidence to Linguini, forcing Skinner to step down as owner. The restaurant thrives. Remy's recipe will become popular, and a romance develops between Linguini and Colette, causing Remy to feel left out. He visits Emile and his clan in their new home, but Remy and his father Django fall out over his admiration for humans and Remy leaves. Meanwhile, the Door world-renowned food critic Anton Ego, whose negative review precipitated Gusto's death, announces he will dine at the restaurant. After getting into a heated argument with Linguini, Remy leads his clan to raid the restaurant's pantries in revenge, but Linguini drives them out. Remy is captured by Skinner, who intends to use Remy's talents to create a line of frozen food products, but is promptly freed by Django and Mio. Linguini apologizes to Remy, having been unable to cook without him, and reveals the truth to the staff, who leaves in disgust. Colette returns after recalling Gusto's motto, "Anyone can cook." What is it? Anyway, sorry about that. There's Mom calling me. Sorry. Okay. Impressed by Remy's determination, Django and the clan offer to help. The rats cook while Linguini waits tables. Remy creates a ratatouille variation, confite Bialdi, which reminds Ego of his mother's cooking. The rats tie up Skinner and the health inspector to prevent them revealing that rats are cooking. And when Ego requests to see the chef, Linguini and Colette make him wait until the other diners have left before introducing Remy. Ego is stunned and writes a glowing review, saying he now truly understands Gusto's famous motto and recalling Remy nothing less than the finest chef in France. However, the restaurant is eventually closed due to the presence of rats violating health regulations, causing Ego to lose his job and his credibility as a critic. He then funds and frequents a popular new bistro, La Ratatouille, created and run by Remy, Linguini, and Colette, and the rats settle into their new home on the bistro's roof. Alright, so on Wednesday, we will be doing Wall-E Tells a Neat Film. Here's a plot in this film. In the 29th century, rampant consumerism and environmental neglect have turned Earth into a garbage-strewn wasteland. Humanity is nowhere to be found, having been evacuated by the megacorporation by and large B&L. On giant starliners, 7 centuries earlier, of the robotic trash compactors left by B&L to clean up, only one remains: a waste allocation load lifter Earth class, or Wall-E. One day, Wall-E's routine is broken by the arrival of an unmanned probe carrying an extraterrestrial vegetation evaluator, or EVE, sent to scan the planet or for plant life. Wall-E is smitten by the sleek, otherworldly robot, but she goes into standby when he shows her his most recent find, a living seedling. The probe returns to collect Eve and the plant, and with Wall-E clinging on, returns to its mothership, the starliner Axiom. In the centuries since the Axiom left Earth, its passengers have degenerated into helpless corpulence due to laziness and microgravity. Their, their every whim catered to by machines. Captain McCrea, used to sitting back while his robotic Lieutenant Otto flies to the ship, is taken aback by positive probe response, but learns that placing the plant in the ship's holodetector will trigger a hyperjump back to Earth, so humanity can begin recolonization. The plant proves to be missing from Eve's storage compartment, though, and she blames Wally for its disappearance. With the plant missing, Eve is deemed faulty and taken to diagnostics. Wally proceeds to free her along with the other faulty robots, causing them to be designated rogue. Frustrated, Eve tries to send Wally home on an escape pod, but they are interrupted when Otto's first mate, Gofor, arrives and stows the stolen plant in a pod set to self-destruct. Wally saves the plant from being lost for good, and he and Eve reconcile, settling with a dance in space around the Axiom. Eve brings the plant back to McCrea, who watches Eve's recordings of Earth, and concludes that they have to go back. However, Otto refuses, revealing his own secret no-return directive, A113, issued after BNL concluded in 2110 that the planet could not be saved. When McCrea countermands this directive, Otto mutinies, electrocuting Wally and shutting Eve down, and throwing them both down the garbage chute before confining the captain to his quarters. Eve automatically reboots herself and helps Wally bring the plant to the ship's holodetector. Otto crushes Wally in his attempt to stop the return protocol initializing, but McCrea deactivates him while Eve starts the hyperjump. Arriving back on Earth, Eve repairs Wally, but finds that his memory has been reset and his personality is gone. Heartbroken, Eve gives Wally a farewell kiss, which sparks his memory and restores his original personality. Wally and Eve reunite as the humans and robots of the Axiom take their first steps on Earth. During the credits, humans and robots are shown learning to farm, fish, and build, turning the ravaged planet into a paradise. Alright, so on Thursday, we will be doing Up 2009 film. Here is a plot in this film. In the 1930s, shy 8-year-old Carl Fredrickson idolizes famous explorer Charles F. Muntz when Muntz is accused of fabricating the skeleton of a giant exotic bird he says that he discovered at Paradise Falls. He vows not to return until he captures one alive. One day, Carl befriends a girl named Ellie, also a Muntz fan. She confides to Carl her desire to move her clubhouse, an abandoned house in the neighborhood, to a cliff overlooking Paradise Falls. Carl and Ellie grow up, marry, and live in the restored house. After Ellie suffers a miscarriage, and they are told they cannot have a child. The couple remembers their childhood dream of visiting Paradise Falls. They save there for the trip, but repeatedly have to spend the money on more pressing needs. Finally, the now elderly Carl rearranges for the trip, but Ellie suddenly falls ill, is hospitalized, and dies. Years later, in the present day, Carl still lives in the house by stubbornly holding out while the neighborhood homes are torn down and replaced by skyscrapers. When he accidentally injures a construction worker, the court deems him a public menace and orders him to move to a retirement home. However, Carl resolves to keep his promise to Ellie by turning his house into a makeshift airship using thousands of helium balloons. Russell, a young wilderness explorer, visits Carl in his effort to earn his final merit badge for assisting the elderly, becomes the accidental stowaway. The flying house encounters a cumulonimbus storm and ends up high above South America. The house lands on a teepee opposite Paradise Falls. Carl and Russell harness themselves to the still buoyant house and begin to walk it across the mesa, hoping to reach the falls before the balloons deflate. Russell encounters a tall, colorful bird whom he names Kevin. They then meet a golden retriever named Doug, who wears a special collar that allows him to speak and who vows to take the bird to his master. The next day, they encounter a pack of aggressive dogs led by Alpha, a Doberman pinscher, and are taken to their master, who turns out to be Charles Muntz. Muntz invites Carl and Russell on board his dirigible, where he explains to them that he is still searching for the giant bird he promised to bring back. When Russell notes the bird's similarity to Kevin, Muntz becomes hostile, believing that they are attempting to capture the bird themselves and alluding to other suspected rivals having faced death at his hands. Carl and Russell flee with Kevin and Doug, but Muntz captures Kevin and starts a fire beneath Carl's house, forcing him to choose between saving it or Kevin. Carl saves the house, allowing Muntz to capture Kevin. Russell is upset at Carl for giving Kevin to Muntz. The two then arrive at Paradise Falls. Carl looks through Ellie's childhood scrapbook and is surprised to find that she has filled in the blank pages with photos of their marriage, along with a note written from her hospital bed, thanking him for the adventure and encouraging him to have a new one. The repentant Carl goes outside, only to see Russell sailing off with some balloons and a propulsive leaf blower to rescue Kevin, while throwing out his furniture and the keepsakes. Carl lightens the house enough to follow Doug shows up, and Carl lets him stay with him. Russell is captured by Muntz, but Carl manages to board the dirigible, tether the house, and free Russell and Kevin. Doug saddles Alpha with a cone of shame, and thereby unexpectedly becomes the dog's. A year later, Muntz determinedly pursues them around the airship and disables Carl's house, but he inadvertently gets his foot caught on some loose balloon lines, causing him to fall to his death. The house, having lost too many balloons to fly, descends out of sight through the clouds. Carl and Russell reunite Kevin with her chicks and fly the dirigible back home. Russell receives his assisting the elderly badge, and Carl presents Russell with his own badge, a grape soda cap that Ellie gave to Carl when they first met. Meanwhile, unknown to Carl, his house has landed on the cliff beside Paradise Falls, fulfilling his promise to Ellie. Alright, on Friday, we will be doing Cars 2 2011 film. Here is a plot in this film. Finn McMissile, a British spy, infiltrates an oil rig owned by a group of lemon cars to rescue a fellow spy. He witnesses the lemons, seemingly led by Professor Zundap, load an electromagnetic pulse emitter disguised as a camera onto a shipping crate. After being discovered, he flees and fakes his death. Lightning McQueen, now a four-time Piston Cup champion, returns to Radio Springs. However, an Italian Formula race car, Francesco Bernoulli, Bernoulli challenges McQueen to the newly created World Grand Prix, led by its creator, Sir Miles Axelrod. McQueen and his best friend Mater, along with Luigi, Guido, Fillmore, and Sarge, depart for Tokyo for the first race of the Grand Prix. At a World Grand Prix promotional event, Mater makes a scene after leaking oil and eating a bowl of wasabi. Angering McQueen while cleaning up, Mater interrupts a fight between the American spy Rod, Torque, Redline, while McMissile and his new partner Holy Shift, attempt to meet. And Lemon's Grandmaster Redline passes his information to Mater, while Holy mistakes it as a spy. Meanwhile, Redline is captured and killed by Professor Zondap, and the other Lemons, Zondap informs his superior, an unknown mastermind, that Redline passed on his information. At the first race, 3 cars are ignited by the camera. McQueen places second in the race after Bernoulli, due to Mater accidentally giving him bad racing advice while evading Zondap's henchmen. With help from Holly and Finn, McQueen snaps at Mater, who is abducted by Finn while attempting to return to Radio Springs. After traveling to Paris to collect more information from Finn's old friend Tomber, they travel to Porto Corsa, Italy, where the next race is being held. During the race, Mater infiltrates the criminals' meeting, just as a camera is used on a few more cars, causing a multi-car pileup, while McQueen finishes first. Due to increased fears over Unknown's safety, Axelrod lifts the requirement to use it for the final race. However, when McQueen decides to continue using it, the criminals plot to kill McQueen in the next race in London. This spooks Mater, causing him to allow his cover and allow him, Finn, and Holly to be captured. Mater, Finn, and Holly are taken to and tied up inside Big Ben. Mater learns that the camera did not function on McQueen, but the criminals tell him they planted a bomb in his pits as a backup plan, spurring him to break free and escape. Finn and Holly escape soon after, but realize that the bomb is on Mater's air filter. Mater has already arrived at the pits when they tell him this, so he flees down the race course while McQueen chases after him. Finn apprehends Professor Sundap while he attempts to escape. The other lemons arrive and outnumber Finn, Holly Mater, and McQueen, but they are soon rescued by the arrival of the other Radio Springs residents. Mater then uses evidence he has seen to reveal the Axelrod as a mastermind of the plot who placed the bomb on Mater. Mater forces Axelrod to deactivate the bomb, and the other lemons are arrested. Mater receives an honorary knighthood from the Queen, while Sarge reveals that he changed McQueen's fuel from Olenol, which it turns out is only gasoline, to Fillmore's organic biofuel. Explaining why the camera did not work on him, Finn and Holly ask if Mater can join them on another mission, but he politely declines, and then participates with the World Grand Prix competitors in the race at Radio Springs. Alright, that's all the DC Homeville releases we got. So second, we will be doing Emma Monkey Pictures and the Robin Cow Productions and Nugget Teeth Company shorts. It is about the leopard who needs dinner, but it was infiltrated by tiger. Well, actually, another leopard on the tree to fulfill his food and to harvest the food in the fall. All right. So on On 3rd, we will be doing Samsung Galaxy Note 10 series. It is about Miho Nishizumi has been attacked by Kane. In the fall, Hortensia seemed to be having a conversation with Tsuyusuke Saki and Manashiki Miya, who declines about Miho Nishizumi taking a vacation after being attacked by Kane, who destroyed the tanks. And Miho Nishizumi has on her trip, but reluctantly having to join by other friends of Cars and Ratatouille into Paris, France. Hortensia did the opera singing instead of doing the idols. So in the end, they seem to go down the waterfall with Miho Nishizumi being trapped inside the sewer. Alright, that's all I got for today. Let's do some work now.